Hey line walkers, this is Jaime from IToldYouIWasSick.com, and I have a brand new video in the series for you called Why Autistic People Do That. This is video number 17. I cannot believe I've been doing this for 17 weeks in a row. And this video is entitled Give Me My Opinion. So I am going to preface this by saying that in case this is the very first video that you are watching in this series, that this all started because I asked a question on a forum, an autism forum, and I asked something to the effect of, name something that neurotypicals know automatically, but when you found out about it, it actually shocked you. And I got some really amazing feedback, and I started contributing my own answers because the more I would hear from other people, the more I remembered things that didn't make sense to me, and then suddenly it was like I was having a ton of aha moments, and I really wanted to share them as a video series. So again, this one is called Give Me My Opinion, and I'm going to read it, what I wrote here, and then I'm going to talk about it. So check this one out. When somebody asks for your thoughts on something, they don't want your actual opinion. They just want somebody to listen and bounce ideas off of and to affirm what they already believe. So this is something that is very frustrating to me, and it probably took me till I was about 30 to figure this out, that people don't want advice most of the time. Even if what they phrase their questions, they frame it in a way of asking for advice. Usually neurotypical people apparently want people who are listening to them to nod sympathetically, confirm what they already believe, and just sort of be there and listen. And unfortunately, this is about as comfortable for me as sitting on a cactus, and that's for two reasons. One, I'm basically lying through my teeth if I affirm somebody's belief and I don't believe it. So that's really uncomfortable for me. And two, it makes me uncomfortable because I'm trying to think how to phrase this. There's just something about telling somebody or nodding and smiling. I have this almost compulsive desire to help people or to solve a problem. I'm not the kind of person who you can just talk to. I mean, I've become that person. But usually when somebody has a problem, I just automatically want to solve it. It's not in my nature to sit and nod sympathetically and, make all the appropriate noises and facial expressions. And I've learned how to say things like, oh, that must be difficult, or I'm sorry you're going through that, or gee, I can't imagine, or, and those are the phrases that you're supposed to, I guess, say as a neurotypical person. But for me, and this is also an issue with boundaries that I have, is I used to just take on other people's problems. All they had to do was tell me they had a problem, and I was like, I'm on it, I'm going to fix it. And instead of that being a good thing, instead of getting a positive response from that, I usually got people saying, I just want you to listen. So here's where I would get frustrated. I would listen, and then the person would tell me, 5, 10, 15, 20 times about the exact same problem. And I might listen to them, maybe offer some advice, kind of tone it down a little. Be like, well, have you tried this? And I feel like I've said, have you tried this about 20 times? And then it really just frustrates me to the point where I don't want to talk to the person anymore. Because I think that the majority, rather, of people that I've talked to really don't want to change. Even if they're complaining, even if they're miserable, even if they're crying, even if they're at their wit's end. And this came as a shock to me because when I get to that point, I'm done. I'm not, I may ask for advice or I may need to vent about something, and that's okay. But when I get to the point where, let's say, for example, somebody is being abusive to me, or somebody is being cruel, or somebody is just, we're not clicking at all. It seems like everything I say, they misunderstand. I don't stick around. And for me, my advice to a lot of people who are having trouble in their relationships is just to get out of them. And I understand now that was a very black and white way of thinking, and not everything is black and white. I mean, if a couple is together 5, 10 years and the person, they're not getting along or whatever, maybe they might want to try counseling first or, work on their communication. Don't just break up. But I knew somebody who was in a relationship that wasn't abusive, but she wasn't getting any of her needs met, and she would tell me this over and over and over again for several years. And I'm like, either get counseling or break up, because this isn't working. And I don't know how she felt about the advice that I was giving her, but I know that I have heard as feedback to me that people do not feel listened to. This is more in my past, because like I said, I've learned to listen in the neurotypical way, which is to just literally listen and be sympathetic. And I am sympathetic. I'm not pretending to be, but I'm holding back, the advice that I want to give, which I can't give. So now this is in most relationships, I think, whether you're neurotypical or autistic. Autistic people, we are very, very blunt. So if you tell us that something's going on, we're probably going to offer you advice to fix it. And then when you don't do it our way, and then you come and complain again, we're going to be like, I already told you what to do. What's the problem? So that may be what I'm thinking, but it does save me a lot of arguments in telling people what to do with their lives, because that's not really what they're coming to me for. For a long time, I thought that's what people wanted. And that was my way of trying to bond with them, by like, I'll help you fix your problem. Let's work on this together. It'll be great. No. So what I've learned is that, again, unless somebody is absolutely, totally fed up with whatever situation they're in, what they really want is to just have people listen and validate their feelings, and then let them go back into the raging fire, or, the pit of lava, or the dragon's den. Just let them go back there, get hurt some more, come back, sit down, and talk to you about the same thing. And that's how it's supposed to go. Now, if you can't tell, that annoys me. And I don't understand it. I truly, and if a neurotypical person wants to step up in the comments, please explain that to me, because I don't get it. This is one of the many behaviors that I've learned to modify, so I don't have a lot of negative social interaction, but this is not something that comes naturally to me. It is like holding back a raging bull when people are talking to me, and I have to just like, yeah, yeah, oh, And it's very annoying, because I really want to help and I want to make the person's life better, and I can't. I really can't do anything unless somebody comes to me and says, Jaime, fix my life, instead of Ianla, fix my life, which I would probably be very good at that. But that's that. The give me my opinion thing is frustrating, something I had to learn through trial and error, a lot of error. And, like I said, if you are a neurotypical person and you don't agree with this, or that's not how you usually operate, or if you're an autistic person, you understand, if you know somebody who is autistic or whatever, any comments, feedback is fine, as long as it's, not horrible, like cruel and mean. That's fine. I definitely want to get to the bottom of this and understand it more, on both sides of the spectrum, because eventually I'd like to turn the series into a book. So I have gotten to 8 minutes and 15 seconds, which means I'm going to sign off with this video. But thank you very much for watching and sticking around, and I will see you in the next video.